and welcome again to another episode of Viva Enthusiast. Again, my friends, I want to say a big thank you and welcome to my fellow aficionados, my connoisseurs, and of course enthusiasts. Now, on today's channel, we're going to continue with our Edición Limitada program, and on today's episode is the Rámon Allones No.2 Edición Limitada for 2019. An absolutely fantastic, phenomenal looking cigar. It's very rustic, it has that rustic Edición Limitada wrapper that I was alluding to you guys in the previous in the Supremos and also the Bolivar Soberanos. I kept saying that the Edición Limitada program and pretty much all of my Edición Limitadas, the wrappers are very rustic. Of course, they're quite maduro in look as well. It's got quite a maduro shade to it. It's very rustic with visible veins and seams, and it has a really nice oily sheen on the wrapper. Very nice oily sheen on the wrapper. And this is a Campana Vitola, so it's a 5.5 inch by 52 ring gauge, which was released in it was supposed to be a 29 release, but of course of Habanos they always release late, so it didn't release out into the market until late 2020. Now everybody knows the Campana Vitola is mainly widely known with the Bolivar Belicosos Finos. Now the Rámon Allones have made a few of these already. The 2005 exclusive release, the Especial regional edition for France, which was in 2008 if I'm not wrong, and the Belicosos, which was a regional edition for Alemania, which is Deutschland, Germany, in 2010. Now the Vitola is also the same in Romeo Julieta Belicosos and also the San Cristobal La Punta. Now there's a couple others also that is also known in, so the aficionados and the connoisseurs will really know about this one, is the Edmundo Dantes Condor Belicoso and the Punch Seridor Oro, which is another edition, part of the Edición Limitada program. And this is quite really lovely cigar, and it just looks great, and a lot of people do prefer the Supremos, but they do rate this one quite highly, so we shall find out today. Now, the smell is tobaccos. It's got a really straightaway, it's got that fieldy aroma, a grassy note, agriculturals. It's got a bit of hay and just an ever so slight touch of chocolate. Now for me it does feel quite soft, it doesn't feel overpacked. It does feel tight up on the head. It has got a tight triple cap. You can see, if you can see the cap there, it's got a bit of a tight cap, but the pack itself looks quite well, doesn't look overpacked, so we'll see how this gets on. Good draw. Nice toasty, lovely warm toasty tobaccos. It's got a dash of spice. It's got this note to it. It's not quite leather. It's not quite earth. It's got this particular note to it though. Interesting opening it. It's got like a dash of allspice, a dash of paprika, and a dash of sumac, all sort of mixed into one. But it's very specific and detailed. It's the way it pronounces itself in the delivery is very detailed. You have to kind of think a little bit to understand what that flavour is. Some people might get something else of it. Some people might not even understand what that flavour is. They just call it earth or something. But it's not bad. It's not bad at all. It's just very specific. It's quite interesting. It's very intriguing on the mind. It's got a black pepper in it. It's very interesting. I can't quite work it out for the moment. I can't quite work it out, but it's got my brain very intrigued. Already, it's not showing me a relaxed smoke. It's showing me an intriguing smoke, something you've got to pay attention to. But I'm liking it. It's very different, very, very different. I didn't know what to expect, but very, very different. Very interesting. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come a little bit later on, and I'll let you guys know how we get along later on, guys. See you in a bit. Hello friends, so we're in the second third. That's just that quite a darkish grey, and the lights make it light. You see the burn has gone off. Touched up a couple of times already, but the burn just keeps going off. Drawer is really firm. Core resistance, I did snip off just a slight little bit much more, and obviously I'll need to really touch it, as you can see. So it's now moved off to earth. It's moved off to a quite it was a bit generic at first, but now that earth, it was more of an allspice and a sumac flavour, and peppers, that ground black and white pepper, all mixed in. Now it wasn't really harsh. You could tell the maturation of the extra 2 years of age that Habanos are put on these. So like I said, these are supposed to be released for 2019. So technically all the tobaccos in here, wrapper, binder, filler, have all come from 2017 because of 2 years aging. We're now in 2021, so that is about 4 years. So you can taste that the way the profile is a little bit more subtle and a bit more relaxed. It's very basic, the flavours, I have to say. Like that earth note, it's not quite as complex as the early beginning. When I vlogged you, I gave that early beginning, but it's okay. It's not bad. It's quite nice. I mean, I was enjoying it up until this point now, more than the Supremos, but it's gone a little bit steady Eddie. But we still have a long way to go. Still a long way to go. So I'll come to you a bit more later, probably around the Edición Limitada band, and then I'll wrap up to you guys and let you know how we get on. Hello friends, so we are in the last part where we're going to wrap up. There we go. So the band is off. I did the band test and thankfully it worked out brilliantly. So I did the band test. And didn't take off a wrapper or anything else, so it actually worked off pretty good. So I was happy with that. However, all I've got so far, just a bit of earth and a little bit of pepper there. Just turn the light down a little bit more on this. Give me a sec. There you go. So I'll give you one more. I did rod a little bit just to try to open it out a little bit more, see if I could get a bit more flavour from this. But at the moment it was a little bit hard, so let me just give you a little see what you got. As you can see, because a little rosin I've done, it's really opened it out exceptionally well. It's given it a real good output. Burn has performed much better now, but it's only now it's performed exactly where I need it to be, which is poor because it's at the end. Just earth, more of a generic earth, a bit of black pepper and spice, And then the retro had pretty much the same flavours, and an odd little twang of grass, you know, as a vegetable note came through on the third. But that was about it really. It wasn't really much. I'm a little bit disappointed, if I'm honest, and I'll tell you why. I had a Ras a couple of days ago, and that performed brilliantly. You know, it's a solid 22 cigar, and the reason why I say it's 22s, and it's always been 22s pretty much all year round, is because it's so consistent. The burn was great, the ash was fantastic. I may put a picture up now. It definitely will be in the blog, though. I'll put a picture of the blog. And it just performed well. It just doesn't have that extra flair. It needs that extra flair and taste to move it into the 23s up, to move it to a fantastic cigar. It's very good, solid. There's a reason why throughout the years I've been into cigars, and I've gone into a walk-in and I'm like, Cuban, I need a Cuban. What can I get? A Robusto. What can I get? I always took a Carras. Always took a Ras. Took a Hoyo on caution because I was like, I told you before. Obviously you can't see the vlog, but you've seen the blog. I don't know how much Robustos that Hoyos just haven't really been a thing for me, apart from that one in the Robusto series, but it just performed brilliant. I could see a little bit of hype, but the Ras has been consistent from day dot. I've not really ever had a bad, terrible Ras. Earlier in the year, they weren't really, for my box, when I started to open them, they weren't really getting that much great, but they've performed really well. This one I had a couple of days, which was good. I've had better flavours from the ones previously in the last couple months since that series, where I had a more nutty flavour. I'm just not really getting anything. Like, I know some people said they got some dark fruits with this and a bit of nightness. Not had any of that, and I'm just disappointed because that earlier intrigue, you know, that earlier mind, you know, concentration on the mind, the flavours I was getting of that what would some people come out as earth and leather, you know, it really made me think, oh, this is interesting, it's intriguing. I told you I was really interested and I was enjoying it. And not that I haven't enjoyed it, it's been good, but it's not blowing me away, not by far at all. And there's just something about this Edición Limitada program. I told you I had Propios before, it's not on the blog, but it was just ridiculously plugged. I thought, alright, I'll let that one off. I had a Bolivar Supremos, you know, that was the first vlog on the channel, wasn't really that special. Had the Supremos now, which you hopefully would have already seen. That was the first episode. Terrible. There's something about the Edición Limitada, I don't understand what it is. The burns are all kind of weird, or the construction is just terrible. I just don't understand what is with them. You know, I do have a couple more. Obviously we have one more left in the series, and I have another one that I'm going to do later in the year. And I'm just, I don't know what it is about the Edición Limitada, guys. It's just, it doesn't work for me. I've had so much better with regular production. I'll buy that any day of the week, and it's kind of putting me off purchasing these Edición Limitadas, because really for me, I'm just starting to think now, Habanos are just putting an extra band on and a higher price and marketing it really well. Earth, that's it, just Earth. So gonna wrap up with some numbers for you guys. Burn 3 out of 5. You've seen it all the way through. Burn's just pretty much terrible. It's only now it's kind of symmetrical. Construction 4.8 out of 5 though. Ash has been pretty much good. It says it's held solid ashes quite well. The draw, it's lost a bit of a point because of the draw was firm. Could have been a little bit better, but when I snipped it off, it's been fine. The output has been great. So yeah, it's just been a bit of a mixer. I'm just trying to play with the light a little bit. Yeah, it's just been a bit of a mix. Flare profile, I don't know if this is a bit too high. 4 out of 5. I'll give it that because the earth it's been good. The earth and spicy peppers has been good. Just hasn't pushed along. That first third, that first mid part, beginning from the third, was very intriguing, interesting. With that sort of paprika, cayenne, allspice and sumac mixed in, the peppers. You know, it was intriguing and interesting. So that's why I gave it that score. Transition 3.8 out of 5. Hasn't really transitioned from the second, third onwards. I mean, it did have that little bit more of a generic earth. Then it came a bit more of that allspice earth and stuff, and then it came back to this generic, and the pepper and spice kind of came back down a bit. So maybe it's a fair score, 3.5 maybe, but I gave it 3.8. I finished 4.5 because you've seen the output has been great. It comes off the mouth and the tongue, and the retro generally good, so I haven't had any issues with that. The finish has been pretty much solid. Overall 3.92 out of 5, which is quite a poor score, and 19.6 out of 5. Now let's say the burn got 5 shots pretty much. It's still only really scoring 20s, so it's not really that. It's a good cigar. Good cigar is the best way to describe it. But yeah, I'm a little bit disappointed. Really, I really, for that oily sheen wrapper, would really bring a bit more. So yeah, guys, unfortunately, that is the second episode in the Edición Limitada series, and it's a second disappointment. It just hasn't worked for me. Just had better regular productions, I'm afraid. I'm really hoping the last one in the series really trumps up tops, although the condition of it, which you'll see, is not the greatest. However, I do have a couple others that are in better condition, but I'm hoping that gives us some promise and potential of, you know, what it can get. Or it just will be stellar. It just looks bad, but, you know, maybe an ugly duckling in the bunch, but, you know, tastes great. So yeah, guys, I hope you enjoyed this episode, and again, please, thank you again for joining, and please like, share, subscribe, and check us next week for the third and final episode in the Edición Limitada series. We have a couple more episodes which you would have seen in the November episode of updates that's going to come up for the rest of this month, so enjoy, because we've got some good ones coming on. Viva!